Hello students, my name is Kumari Shilpi. I am an assistant professor in Department of Management and Commerce, Mewar University. Today we are going to do our lecture 5 on industrial relations and labor enactment. We already completed till lecture 4. In today's lecture we are going to complete what are the various causes of industrial disputes, as well as we are going to cover that how we can resolve these disputes, right? So we are going to cover about these two topics in today's class. Before starting this industrial dispute, we all know that industrialization in a country has always contributed to employment, contribution to the national income, per capita income, export, economic development. On one side, if we are talking about the industrial dispute, it is a negative term which is basically shattered the situation of economy, or we can say it totally disturbed the economical system of the country. So we can say that we have always a mixed blessing, that we have so many benefits of industries relation, as well as sometimes disputes are also arises. We already understand in our previous lecture about the types of industrial disputes, like the interest disputes, grievance disputes or the rights dispute, unfair labor practices dispute, recognition disputes. So let's start with what are the types of disputes, what are the cause, not types we already completed, what are the cause of the disputes. So industrial dispute is obviously a common feature for the industrialized economy, whether it is a capitalist economy, socialist economy, or the mixed economy, right? So industry and industrial disputes always go hand in hand. In fact, they are the two sides of the same coin. Okay, the way the employees who give their services and the time to industries are interested in higher wages, good working conditions, wants, and they have their own voice in management, right? The employers, on the other hand, they have their own, they are more interested in profits, productivity, quality, and control. So with both these forces, and we can say they both have the different focuses and the different direction, there is a maximum possibility of disputes, and so industrial disputes become a major feature of industrialization. Industrial disputes can be arise because of various reasons, like economic reason, political reason, socio-economic background, attitude of employers, employee. That is also one of the major reason behind the industrial dispute. So the conflict always arises because of the interests are different between the management and the workers. What are the various common causes for the industrial disputes? First one is wages and allowances. So wages and allowances, we can say that it is a remuneration which the workers are getting on the basis of their work done. If they're not getting it on time, and if the amount is less what is basically promised to them, so there is a high chance of the industrial dispute which can be arises in the case of the delayed wages allowances, less wages allowances, and what work they are doing and what kind of allowances they are getting. If it is less, then there is a high chance of the industrial disputes. So it is totally a worker, it is a worker side dispute can be arises to the management side. Next one is the personal policies. If the policies which is made by the higher management, it is exploitive policies. If there is a no rest time, there is no leaves available for the workers, then there is a chances of the industrial dispute can be allowed. Next one is retrenchment. Retrenchment is also one of the reason for the industrial dispute. Next one is layoff. If we are talking about layoff, if we are basically removing any of the employees for the cost cutting purposes without any reasons, without any mistakes, if it is only for benefits, profit, and for cost cutting, there is a high chances of industrial dispute. Next, if we are talking about leaves and hour of works, how many time, according to so many acts which is made in the India related with the employees and workers, the workers are allowed to do the work for a certain hour of time. That is 8 hours, right? If they are exploited and they are asked to do long-term job without taking rest, so this is something which is exploitive nature behavior of management in any of the organization. If they're not getting leave, sick leave, there are multiple type of leave. If they're not getting all those incentives and benefits, there is a high chances of industrial dispute. Next one is bonus. So bonus is a part which the employees are getting, workers are getting through the profit of the organization. So they are entitled for getting the bonuses in a certain occasion or in the basis of the profit which the organization is earning. If they're not getting bonuses, in case of bonuses, getting the bonus is also the reason for the conflict. Indisciplined behavior, if the laborers or the workers are coming late without giving information, they are taking long term rest time. Indisciplined behavior, not at timely, they are not reporting at their work. So indisciplined behavior is also one of the reason, and it can be from the both sides. Violence, if the two three laborers are fighting with each other, or in the case if there is a management conflict, so there is a high chances of industrial disputes. And union rivalry, we all know that in the factories and businesses there are trade unions. So if in the case if the trade union, there is a dispute between the trade unions, there is a high chances of industrial disputes. Non-implementation of awards or agreements. So if someone is doing job, they're required to get motivated, awarded, and praises, right? So if there is no awards or agreements available for the workers, non-fulfillment of demand. If the workers are asking for the increasing the salary, or they are asking for the better environment, and if that is not fulfilled by the administration or management, there is a high chances of dispute. If workload is too much high, workload means that what is the capacity of people of doing job and what extra they are getting. If they are getting extra workload, or if they are doing the overtime but still they are not getting any additional benefits for that, there is a high chances of industrial disputes too. Next one is work standards. So what kind of machineries, what kind of policies and strategies are there for the workers, what kind of standards, working standards and policies are followed. So that is also one of the reason for the industrial dispute. Next one is surplus labor. If we are talking about the surplus labor, if there is additional more and more labors we are hiring, or either we are basically reducing the surplus labor, that is going to increase the overall workload for the people. Working condition. So everyone is entitled for getting proper food, proper air to breathe, as well as proper water and as sanitation facilities. So if any of the things are compromised, obviously it will be harmful for any of the person to do the job in the organization or factory. So working conditions should be suitable, that either it help the laborers to physically fit as well as psychologically fit. So working condition is also one of the reason for industrial dispute if it is not up to the mark. Change in the manufacturing process. So we all know now there is more in the small enterprises, it is labor intensive, but in the large enterprises it is now capital intensive. So more and more machineries are taking place of the human being. Or either if we are changing the manufacturing process, if we are introducing the new machine in the organization, and the people are basically constrained or resistance to the change, so this is also one of the reason for the uh, dispute, right? Next is violation of rules and codes. So whatever rules, policies, strategies, and the discipline scenarios are made by the management, if it is not followed, then there is a chances of this dispute as well. If we are talking of the shift working, so at what time we are asking the laborers to come and to do the job. If we are normally asking to normal time job, that is 9 to 5 in India, if we are asking them to come at the alter time, at night, at any time, so there is a high chances for this as well. Shifting working hours as well as the shift working is like if we are asking some people to come at particular time and some people at different time. So this is also one of the reason for the industrial dispute. Next one is political motive. So sometimes some of the people are very much indulged in the political activities, and this is also the reason for the disputes. Next one is closure or lockouts. Sometimes because of the unfulfillment of demands, the people are more toward the more toward changing the scenario of the management. They try to change or assist or force the management to change. They are doing strikes, lockouts in case of unfulfillment of demand or something exploitative happen, which is not at all tolerated by the people or the workers. So closures, lockouts are the reason for the industrial disputes. Next one is inability to communicate effectively. So communication gap is one of the reasons which is basically miscommunicate the workers in any of the organization. So miscommunication always lead to the industrial dispute. Next one is the, if we next we are talking, that is authoritarian or autocratic attitude. If the management is very strict, they are showing their superior authoritative positions, and they are not going to change, and they are not at all flexible, or they are always rigid, and they are not thinking about the welfare of the workers and their situation. If that is totally ignored and it is negligible in any of the organization, obviously it will lead to the industrial dispute. Non-implementation of labor laws. So there are various type of labor laws. If you are talking Industrial Dispute Act 1947, like that. So if there is no labor laws and it is not followed properly, it is also lead to the industrial dispute. So hope you all understand about what are the various reasons for the industrial dispute. Let's move toward the next topic, and that is, what are the resolution or solution for industrial disputes. The first one is collective bargaining. Let's begin with this new topic. Although we already going to cover this industrial dispute resolution in Industrial Dispute Act 1947, but let's do some in brief about it, or what are the type of resolution. First one is collective bargaining. So collective bargaining is the most effective method of resolving the industrial dispute. It occurs basically through the work committee, when representative of both workmen as well as employer meet to settle the differences which may be due to dispute in wages, benefit, work rule, etc. Since both parties have their own representative, they can collectively bargain and protect their interest and reach the settlement. So this is what collective bargaining is. Next one is grievances redressal mechanism. So grievances may be known as the dissatisfaction of workers with any aspect of the organization where he is employed. The same need to be redressed for the betterment of the industry. So the Industrial Dispute Amendment Act 2010, in Chapter 2B in the Act, the purpose to establish an effective tool to the resolve this industrial dispute. So this is basically giving what the grievances redressal machinery is. So every industrial establishment have 20 or more workers. They can establish the grievances redressal mechanism. Every industry establishment have 20 or more workmen shall have one or more grievances redressal committee for resolution of dispute arising out of individual grievances, right? And the grievances redressal committee shall consist of equal number of members from the employer and the workmen. The chairperson of grievances redressal committee shall be selected from the employer and from among the workmen alternatively on rotation basis everywhere, so the discrimination can be reduced. The total number of members of grievances redressal committee shall not be exceed 6. So 6 is the highest number for the grievances redressal committee. There shall be one women member in the grievances redressal committee in case of two members. So one member need to be required to be women. In case the number of members are more than two, the number of women members need to be increased proportionately. It means that 50% of women are required. In case of two, one women, and in case of 15, in case of six, three women can be there. As well as the grievances redressal committee shall not affect the right of workmen to raise the industrial dispute on the same matter under the provision of this act. The grievances redressal committee may complete its proceeding within 30 days on receipt of written application. So for this, for giving any like information to grievances redressal mechanism, we need to write an application on the behalf of the aggrieved party. Okay, and the workman who is aggrieved by the decision of grievance redressal committee may appeal to the employer against the decision of grievances redressal committee, and the employer shall within 1 month from the date of receipt of such appeal dispose of the same and send a copy to his decision to the workman concerned. So we can say that this is a mechanism which is basically for solving the industrial dispute and the aggrieved workmen. Next one is arbitration. So in the case of the arbitration, it is a method of a dispute, settlement of a dispute wherein a neutral third party is appointed. One third party is appointed by both of the parties, and they apprehend the bargaining situation after listening the both parties' points or the situation, and after studying the other informations and evidences which is there. An award is made on such settlement the binds the parties. So arbitration is effective as mean resolving dispute because it is relatively expeditious as compared to the court, right? Next one is conciliation. So conciliation is a process to resolve the disputes where the representative of workers and employers are brought together before a third party conciliation officer with a view to convince them to arrive at mutual settlement. So the conciliation officer basically acts as a catalyst who deal with the parties separately and collectively in order to provide an effective solution to the dispute. So this is the conciliation where there is a role of conciliation officer basically, where the both parties representative basically brought together the third party conciliation officer, right? So it is different from the arbitration. So in the case of the arbitration, here the neutral third party is appointed by the both parties, not by the representative. That person is not called as the conciliation officer. Next one is adjudication. In adjudication, we can say that the industrial disputes are resolved by the labor court or the industrial tribunal. So the appropriate government may refers to dispute to the adjudication depending on the failure of the conciliation proceeding, right? So we can say the role of labor court and the tribunal will be basically provided to the aggrieved parties, and the solution and the jurisdiction are made accordingly. So hope you understand all the industrial dispute resolution. We will also cover the next all these industrial dispute act 1947, in which we will cover all these points which I discussed today in a elaborated manner. Hope you guys understand all the terms and information provided in this lecture. Thank you so much.